Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I talk about books. Sometimes I talk about other things. So on to the books. 14 books in July, and I'm very happy with that because it was the last day of July with my birthday, and it was a 5-star read. And I'm so happy that that is the way that I ended my July reading. And we will talk about that book in just a little bit. First, let's talk about the other books. The first book that I read in July was The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. It is, I guess you could call it fantasy, sci-fi. She wrote this story about the boroughs of New York, Queens and the Bronx, and how all of these different boroughs, I believe there were maybe 5 or 6 of them, and how they banded together and they manifested into these human beings with some sort of special power to save the city that is newly born and full of energy, and it's alive. And I just love that, because when you think of New York, you think of a place that's just alive with energy and culture, and how fabulous that is. And of course, they are banded together to save New York, to save this part of their world, and against some sort of entity. And apparently there are other cities that were born this way, and they had to do the same battles. Some of them survived and some of them did not. So I really loved the premise of this book, and I love the way that Jemisin layers a story as you're reading, and you're kind of getting to know things, and things are building as you go. And I love that. I love that the way she's just a master storyteller. It's just so much fun to read her books. I gave The City We Became 4.5 blossoms. The second book that I read was War Girls by, I'm hoping I don't butcher his name, Touche Oyebushi, I believe. Touche Oyebushi. I tried. This is set in Nigeria, and it's a few years in the future, and there's like space travel and all kinds of things happening right now in the future of this book. They are in the middle of a civil war, and these women are creating this village that they have. The village becomes under attack, and these two sisters become separated, and this is the journey of how they find each other. There's a lot of different things going on in the background, and I really liked it. I could not put it down, and I gave it 4.5 blossoms. So I think I might pick up another book by Oyebushi. I hope I'm not pronouncing that incorrectly. The third book that I picked up was Twice the Growl. It was a shifter paranormal romance, and it was very smutty. I enjoyed the character so much of Tally, and I was laughing. And you know, she's a heavy-set girl, and she's got this wedding she has to go to, and she has this horrible ex who's going to be there, and she needs a date, and she doesn't really know what to do. So somebody suggested that, you know, she gets in contact with her nice neighbor lady that she shares cake with and cocoa with after a hard day's work, and she's a matchmaker basically, and she matches shifters up with humans sometimes, and shifters up with shifters. So she's got a good run. So Tally is considering this. Meanwhile, these two alpha males that are like best friends show up at Auntie's house, and they're asking Auntie if they could get some help and some assistance in finding a mate so that they can have their alpha trifecta, whatever. But they need to find the perfect mate that will satisfy them both.
So hot. Want to touch the hiney.
This is where Tally comes in. And yep, so she hooks her up with these two fellas, and then they go to the wedding, and things happen, and I love Grandma so much. I was laughing so much in the first couple of chapters that my friend who I was spending the weekend with said, "What are you reading?" And I told her, and she's like, "Oh, that sounds really good." And I said, "It is. It's really funny. And it's going to be smutty." And it's funny. And I looked and I was like, hey, I can buy it for her. It was 99 cents on Kindle. I can buy it for her and send it to her because she has the Kindle app. And I said, I'm going to send this to you and maybe you could read it. We ended up reading it together. It was so much fun. We were both laughing at the same parts. We just spent the whole day. It was raining out. Nothing we couldn't do. We couldn't go out and peruse the shops around where she lives. So we just stayed inside and read a smutty shifter book. It was awesome. And I gave it 4.5 blossoms. It was just what I needed. I needed it to fill a prompt of, something that gets you hot, and well, why not? And something that just you take some sort of joy out of. So that was my choice. It fit both the Fuckathon and the summer reads. I love it. I love it when books fit together.
Like a glove!
The fourth book that I finished in the month of July was The Obelisk Gate, and I'm actually doing a buddy read of The Broken Earth with Noria at Noria Chronicles of Noria, and I'm having so much fun doing this Broken Earth trilogy with the girls and the guys, and I'm having a great time, and I'm really, really enjoying it, and it's just so much fun talking about the books as we're reading them. So I look forward to The Stone Sky. That's book 3, and I'm looking forward to that so much. This was a 5 blossom read, in case I didn't say that. Book number 5 just happened to be a book I needed something to listen to. I was in a car. I knew I was going to be a long drive to go get glasses for my husband, but I wasn't driving. My mother-in-law was, and I just needed something to listen to. And so I picked up Felix Ever After. I love this book. I gave it 4.5 blossoms. It was such a good coming of age story about a young trans who was into art, and unfortunately someone finds out about his dead name and things happen, and there's a little bit of bullying and of course this romance, and I just love that stuff. It was just a good book. I really enjoyed the representation, and I really enjoyed how the story went. Book number 6 was Momento, a Illuminae file novella, and I enjoyed it very much. It was a prequel to the Illuminae files, and it's basically a short little story of what was going on just before the Alexander went on self-destruct, and I think that it was worth the read. It was very short. I enjoyed it, even though I knew what was going to happen before it happened. It was still very kind of got me in the feels just a little bit, but it gives us a little idea of Aiden's process before he did what he did. I gave it 4.5 blossoms. The 7th book that I picked up in July and finished was Beneath the Sugar Sky by Seanan McGuire. This is a YA fantasy. They're very short, but I enjoyed them so much. I'm so glad that I bought these. They're really pretty. In this book, we have Rooney, a girl that just falls out of the sky right into the turtle pond and demands her mom from the wayward kids that are living there at the home. And they are a little confused by her just dropping in, and apparently her dress was disintegrating before them. So there's a lot of talk about vaginas for a little bit there, and I found that very amusing. So this has some touching parts, some sad parts, but I really enjoyed this. I'm really glad that I bought this series. I gave Beneath the Sugar Sky 4.5 blossoms, and I cannot wait to read book number 4. Book number 8 was Saga Volume 2 by Brian Vaughan. I'm enjoying this so much, this series. I actually cried while reading this one. It's a dad thing. I am a daddy's girl, so anything that happens with dads that's touching or heartfelt, or I'm probably gonna just weepy weep. It's just the way I'm made. I gave this 4.75. Yeah, I did. I love it. This was well worth the blossoms, and I can't wait to pick up the next one because I love that their daughter Hazel is the one that's narrating this story and telling us this story. It's really fun to read, so I can't wait to pick up volume 3. The 9th book that I picked up was Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man by Emmanuel Acho. This was a nonfiction, and it is Emmanuel taking letters and questions from people who are non-Black and answering those questions that sometimes they might be a little afraid to ask, and giving you those answers that might be a little uncomfortable. And it was well worth the read. So if anybody wants to pick that up and self-educate themselves, then I recommend that one very much. I gave it 5 blossoms. The 10th book that I picked up was a middle grade fantasy called Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This is a debut book, and I really, really liked this story. I liked the way that it moved. I liked some of the things that were done in it to put it together. I enjoyed Amari's character very, very much. She's just this kid whose brother has gone missing, and she just wants to find him and bring him home because she believes he's not dead, he's not gone. So she ends up going to this school where there's, I guess, some magic going on, and it felt very Men in Blackish, I guess. I was waiting for people to have like their brain zapped so that they forget stuff. Apparently that is a thing. So yes, that's where the whole MIB thing came up in my brain. But I enjoyed it, and it was kind of a little bit of that Potterish thing where you're in school and you're learning how to use your magic, and nobody's supposed to know that there's magical beings or at all. And so it was fun. It was a fun read, and I gave it 4.75 blossoms. Number 11 was a fantasy, Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angeles. I enjoyed it. I will pick up book 2 at some point. It's just not that big of a priority. I did only rate it 3.75 blossoms, but that is only because I was a little confused when I was reading it, and that kind of took away from the story a little bit. But now that the world building has happened, I think that I might enjoy book 2 a lot more. So I'm looking forward to it. Book number 12 was a reread for me of The Serpent King by Jeff Zettner. It's such a good coming of age story, even though I knew when I was reading it and watching everyone else read it as well, and seeing the tears and knowing what was coming, it didn't take anything away from it. I read this book at the exact same time last year, the end of July, and I read this one just before my birthday this year in July. And again, it just pulls you in, and then you cry, and you cry more than once, and it just gets you in the feels. And it's such a good book, and I think maybe I should probably get a copy for myself and put it on my shelf so that I can reread it again someday, and because I think it would be worth it. I gave this YA contemporary 5 blossoms. I gave it 5 blossoms last time. It hasn't changed. Book 13 was another middle grade fantasy. It was Aru Shah and the City of Gold by Roshni Chokshi. I love Aru and her friends. I love the adventures that they're going on. It's Indian family, it's Indian culture and Indian myths and religion, and I really like it, and I can't wait to read book 5. I thought this was going to be a quartet. It's not. It's going to be an ongoing series. Now we come to book number 14. Book number 14 was The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers. This is the 4th book in the Wayfarers series, and I read the very end with the author's notes, and it seems that this is the last book in this particular world, well, or with anything connected to the Wayfarer ship. So it is very bittersweet. I'm hoping that there might be another book someday. Someday. Oh, it was so good. You have a group of people that are just, they end up getting stranded because there's like, they can't leave the planet. They're grounded until somebody can clean up a big mess. And satellites exploded, and there's all kinds of debris, so it's not safe to fly through all of that. And so they're stuck here on this little like hotel, like stopping place that people stop at to like refuel and get food, and sometimes do like an overnight or whatever while they're waiting to move on to their next planet that they're going to, or wherever they're going. So they're stuck here, and they end up getting to know each other, and they end up bonding, and it's just that found family all over again with a whole new group of people. And I just enjoyed it so damn much, and I have to reread it. I'm gonna have to reread all of these at some point, and I'm so glad that I own them all now. That makes me so happy. Becky Chambers can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. I haven't picked up anything that I didn't like by this author. It's just wonderful. So I highly recommend the Wayfarer series, and that starts with the Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and then you have this one. So it was really good. So those are all the books that I read in the month of July. I'm so happy that I read them. I did get some really amazing gifts on my birthday. I got gift cards. You know what those are going to be spent on. And I got a sketchbook that my sister gave me. I can't wait to draw in that a little bit and have some fun with it. We'll put it over there with the rest of my art stuff. Got a little bit of cash from my mom so I can go get my hair done. That pink top and that other top that she gave me that I showed off a little bit with the blue flowers. I absolutely love it, and I did not wear it. I'm so glad I did not wear it to go have margaritas and Mexican food, because I ended up getting stuff all over me. So that would have gotten stained, and I would have been super sad. And they're right, for my birthday. They should have got me a birthday bib. Maybe next year. When I met up with the girls, I got reading socks from one of them. That was so nice. It was so sweet. Heather didn't have to do that, but she did. And I love it. And of course, this sticker. So yeah, I got the Saturday Night Live reference. I did. In the month of July, I picked up a few things as well. I mean, if you watched the video of my birthday, then you probably saw that I went to a music store and left with books, which I will show you in just a minute. But before I went to the music store, at the beginning of the month, I ordered myself this because it's stunning. The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. I mean, look at the cover. It's beautiful. All the butterflies. I cannot wait to read this. It's giving me fallish kind of feel. So I am definitely going to be reading this when they do the seasonathon for the fall. And they're going to be doing the Fall into Reading seasonathon. And that's with Completely Melanie, and it's with Clint and Reads Readers, and it's going to be Kaylani from Kaylani Simply Me, and I'm so excited about it. And then this came in the mail. I love J.R. Ward. Y'all know how much I love J.R. Ward, and this, such an awesome sound. This is the first book in a new spin-off that she's written in the world of my Black Dagger, but this is woven. This is claimed. We have a brand new dude, and he turns into a wolfie. I'm so excited to read this. So this is going to be like one of the first books I read. So I can't wait Can't wait. I've been waiting until this video just so I can start. I gotta open it. I know I'm gonna be curled up reading this at some point this week. My husband's just gonna see me sitting there going, just devouring every page, every page, every page. I love J.R. Ward. I love her writing. I am trash for this author. On a side note, I was doing my Weight Watchers points and stuff, and you get to earn WW rewards and whatnot. So I'm like, been doing my healthy stuff, and I got myself some tumblers from. I'm so excited. Got a blue one. It says positive vibes only, and it's gonna measure my wine. I'm gonna use these next time I hang out with my friend. I had such a good time reading Twice the Growl. I will have to show you pictures of the two of us hanging out together and reading. All we got is time, so stay a while, stay a while. This says saving points for wine. I love these tumblers. These are awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait to use them. That's all I have now. I am all done telling you about the books and telling you about the things that I spent some of my... Wait. I almost forgot. I went to Bull Moose and I bought some books. I bought Dark Age by Pierce Brown because I hadn't bought this yet. My sister has the iron one at the house, Iron Gold. She has Iron Gold at the house. She's borrowing that from me. I haven't even read it yet, but I'm a nice sister, so I let her borrow my copy of that one. So now I have this one, so I cannot wait to dive in. I cannot. And then I picked up the Song of Achilles. I have no idea what this is about. I've just been hearing people talking about it, and it's by Madeline Miller, and apparently this broke some of my friends as they were reading it, and they almost threw it, not in anger, but just because they were overcome with emotions. So I wanted to feel that, so I had to check it out. It's really pretty. It's shiny. One more. I was gonna wait for the soft cover of this, but I decided I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. He is the same author who wrote the Aragon Inheritance series that I just absolutely love with dragons and stuff, but this is not dragons. This is sci-fi. I've already read an excerpt. It was like several of the first chapters, and I read it and I liked it, and now I'm going to finish it because it was good. So now I have it. I have a hardcover copy instead of waiting for the soft cover because I'm an impatient bitch. And I think I would have left the store with more books if I'd stayed any longer than I did. But yeah, so that's it. I got nothing else. So if you stayed as long as you did, leave me a little space dude, or you're like a little alien down in the bottom in the comments if you saw to the end of this video. If you like what you see here and you want to see more of my face, hit the subscribe button. Enjoy my videos if you'd like, and happy reading, everybody. Till next time.